I heard it said, and this really resonated with me when I first heard this. It said, before we can really take Christ to the world, we have to take Christ from the church. It seems that God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit have become property of the Christian church, as if we have exclusive rights to Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ was never, ever once mention out of his word the word Christian. In fact, the book of Acts, where we first hear the word Christian, was written 90, they say was written between 70 and 90 years after Jesus had passed. Nowhere in the Gospels, nowhere in anything that Jesus has ever said that referred to himself as a Christian. When Jesus Christ wanted us to look at him, he said he was always the Son of Man or the Son of God. And when he said that we are to see God as his children, he said to, and these are people that were not that not declared their loyalty to Jesus Christ. These were just people that Jesus was teaching. These people had never declared that they were Christians. But what Jesus taught them, he even in what we call the Lord's Prayer, he said, say, our Father, our Father. In other words, God is the Father of all of us. God is the Father of all men. And he says, I want you to look at him. God is not the Father of Christians. God is not the father of Muslims. He's not the father of Hindus or Buddhists or any other religion. God is the father of all of us. He's been saying that from the beginning when he said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's Genesis 1:1, Genesis 1:26. And he said, and God said, let us make man, let us make mankind, let us make humans in our image, all humans in our image and in our likeness, to dwell upon the earth, to have dominion over the earth. That's who God is for. He is for all of us. And I think deep down inside, we know it. We know it. But religion comes along because the goal of religion is to prove that we're superior, so to prove that somehow we're more connected to God than anyone else, that we have a relationship with God better than anyone else. And we know deep down inside that's not true. We know that there are people out there of other religions that love people more than what we call as Christians love people. They forgive people quicker than Christians forgive people. And we know Christians who forgive people better than people of other religions. Why? Because we all belong to God. And it's not a competition, it's not about being compared to anyone. Jesus Christ did not come to make us children of God. Jesus came to reveal to us that we're already children of God, and that God lives on the inside of all of us. But I know religion has so hijacked God and said, no, God belongs to us. And if you're not one of us, you can't belong to God. That is so incorrect. Why? Because you know for yourself that you have the conscience of God. You know for yourself that you long for God. And it had nothing to do with your relationship with a church. It had something to do with what's already on the inside of you. I want to read this before we go today. In Acts chapter 17, verse 24 through 28, Paul makes this huge discovery about people who were non-Jewish. And this was huge for Paul because at this time, Paul felt that the only people that had a connection to God were Jews. And in Acts 17:24 through 28, it says, God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made of hands. God did what? He made the world and everything that's in it. Verse 25, neither is worship with men's hands, though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. He gives this to all of us, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they, though sorry, that they should seek the Lord, if happily they may feel after him and find him. Oh, this is good. Though he be not far from every one of us. Verse 28, for in him, he's talking to people who are not Jews. He's talking to people who have not declared that they're followers of Jesus Christ. He's talking to Greeks who actually believe in many gods. And this is what he says to them: for in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. We're all the children of God. And before we can take Christ and the teachings of Christ to the world, we have to take him away from the people who think that they own the exclusive rights to Christ. Why? Because the whole world belongs to him.